I hate to say it, but I think we have to touch base about Madonna again, because there's been some new news come out that is pretty shocking, and people are just now starting to really talk about it. So for those who didn't see last week's segment, Madonna was intubated when she was found unresponsive in her house or apartment, and had to spend some days in the ICU, and thankfully she recovered very quickly. And all that was said about her her stay was that she had a bacterial infection. And so last week we were trying to figure out what exactly would have happened to her, because it's kind of a weird story. Most of the time, if you have a bacterial infection that is severe enough to make you unresponsive and need to be intubated, like you're really, really, really sick, and you normally would spend a lot of time in the hospital.
Didn't she say sepsis last time? Like that's
we were just guessing.
That might have been what happened. Yeah.
Well, we were just speculating, right? Because, it was just weird that she, was sick enough to be intubated, which means you're put on a breathing machine and be in the ICU, but then she was, back to normal in a few days. And so we were all like, well, we'll have to see if anything else comes out. So I guess it was yesterday or the day before, like things started hitting the news. And I just clipped Sarah, can you throw up? Yeah, there's some clips. And so what's being reported in multiple news outlets is that Madonna had to be given Narcan to like bring her back to life. And I was like, what? That's like a completely...
What is that drug that they like stab into your chest?
That'd be epinephrine. So Narcan, you're on the right track though. So Narcan is basically the reversal for opioids. So when people
like the thing we talked about with the police officer.
And we're going to talk about that in the next little segment. But yeah, Narcan is what you give somebody when they're having an acute opioid overdose. Now here's the weird part, okay? When I started reading these articles, they all said, and first off, they were saying from undisclosed reports. Like it was all like undisclosed reports. Like nobody was saying like who was saying that she had to be given Narcan, but all these news outlets are saying it. And then they were going on to say that they didn't think she had a drug overdose. Now, that's the part that's really confusing, because Narcan is not used for anything outside of reversing an acute opioid.
Maybe it was like a prescribed overdose, like an accidental thing.
Could be. So digging into it a little bit more, I found one news article that reported she has been taking a lot of painkillers lately in preparation for this big tour that she's about to have. And so that does all kind of make sense.
From like sore joints.
Yeah, from like, all the stuff she has to do. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if it is true, and this is like I said, news outlets reporting this, they all say unconfirmed sources, but everyone's saying it, that she was given Narcan to like bring her back. I mean, really the only thing that it would be a narcotic overdose, like
there's no other reason to use it.
So there were a couple articles that said, Narcan can be used for septic shock. Now, I used to work in the ICU, did trauma critical care, and so we actually managed shock of all sorts, circulatory, septic, cardiogenic, all of that. Never had I heard of anyone giving Narcan for septic shock. There is one study, and I actually pulled the study and just like took a picture of it. Sarah, throw it up just there for a second. Yeah. So this is a study from 1989. Naloxone is the generic name for Narcan. And so this study had 5 patients in it that were critically ill to the point that nothing else was working, and they gave them Narcan and their blood pressure went up slightly, but like 4 out of the 5 died.
Yikes.
So like this is not something that's being done. People are not giving Narcan for septic shock. No, absolutely not. Now, so I think one of 3 things happened. One, she wasn't really given Narcan, and somebody just said that, and now everyone's running with it, and it's total BS, okay? 2, they found her down and unresponsive, and they give her Narcan just in case, you know? I mean, because as we're going to talk about in the next
Because, she's a celebrity, that's like...
It could happen, people, celebrities die of painkiller overdoses all the time.
Maybe she was at like a get-together, too. Like, who knows?
Who knows? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
And so it's possible that she did get Narcan, but she really had something else going on. Or 3... she really did have a little bit too much painkiller or narcotics in her system, and the Narcan is what kind of made her recover so quickly.
Yeah.
When we think about it, like what is more likely, that someone had a bacterial infection and sepsis and was so sick they had to be intubated, go to the ICU, and then miraculously they're better in like 3 days and go home? Or is it more believable that somebody got a little bit too much narcotic on board, was given Narcan, spent a day in the ICU, and was better? I mean, the latter is actually much more believable.
Yeah.
And so, it's a crazy story. And this is not in any way to, dig on Madonna. I love Madonna.
If we take out the bacterial part, there's no way. Like, if she
I mean,
doesn't.
who knows? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, it's wild. Like, the whole bacterial thing really kind of threw me off.
Yeah,
because
that's why we immediately thought.
Yeah,
you
it's
did.
like, okay,
Yeah.
this doesn't make sense, but maybe. So, yeah, I don't know. And again, I'm not trying to dig on Madonna. I mean, there's some amazing people that have to take pain medications for various reasons, and it is totally possible to, take too many or whatever, or get caught up in things. And so, if she was given Narcan, and whether she needed it or not, I mean, it's not anything bad against her. We're worried about her and want her to, be healthy. But Sarah, what do you think? Now that we've discussed this, what are your thoughts on the matter?
I was just trying to think, how old is Madonna?
62.
62.
Or 3.
Yeah.
It's either 62 or 63.
Yeah. I like her a lot. I like her music. So I think it's sad. It's a sad situation. But
Definitely sad, and they had to postpone her whole tour. I mean, she was supposed to go on tour July 15th, and now it's like, I don't think it's canceled, but it's indefinitely postponed.
Yeah, I could definitely see like she's just like overworked her body, and
Yeah.
she was like, you know what? I'm gonna take an extra dose of what I normally take.
Could be.
Because I feel like crap.
Yeah,
And
it was
she
too
went
much.
too far.
Yeah, and sometimes when you combine those medications with things like alcohol or something, then they're amplified.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. Like I said, either it wasn't true, she didn't take Narcan. They may have just given her Narcan because she was unresponsive, or it is true
Yeah.
and she had a little bit too much painkiller.
I could see
I wonder if we'll find out.
I could see an EMT like what if she had a party at her house and they're like, holy crap, Madonna's passed out in her room, and they're like, I know what it is, it's drugs.
Dude, well, we're going to talk about this in the next segment because the opioid thing is just getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
And I hope Madonna's not having some sort of really big problem with this.
I feel like she would have had a drug problem already.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she ever really was
I feel
known
like
for that.
if she did have a drug problem, I'm sure she did have a drug problem. It's just social media wasn't.
Wasn't big back then.
Yeah, so it wasn't like everybody's taking a picture of Madonna like.
I don't know. I never heard of
doing all
Madonna
of her-
being kind of off the rails like some of the celebrities, but
Yeah, I'm sure she has done probably every drug you could probably think of.
maybe, I don't know.
I would.
We need to
think.
have her on the show. We can ask her.
Yeah, Madonna. Get over it.
All right. Well, Madonna, wish you the best. I hope you make quick recovery. Let me know what you think happened to Madonna. We're not sure. We're just kind of guessing based on what the news says.
We're
but
spitballing.
hope she's all right. Okay, moving on.